and welcome back to another video. So, last week I did mention I would be redoing my top 10 because I tend to about once a year. So about once a year I sit down and go, are these in my top 10? Is this still my favourite game of all time? We know the answer to the favourite game of all time. If you've watched my show at all, you'll know what it is. And we'll get to that. And I won't talk about it for too long because we'll be here all day. And there's more interesting games on this big fat list, on this big fat stack. So we're going to go 10 down, and starting at number 10, there was a lot of deliberation on this one. So it's for the GameCube. This is a GameCube game. And here's the kicker. There are other games I do technically play more. There are games I technically like more. But nothing quite compares in terms of GameCube. Nothing sums up one of my favourite systems of all time. The weirdest piece of shit I own for it that isn't cubable. And that's Delirium the Giant. I really like this game. Like, I genuinely really like this game. I've owned it for a very long time. I've owned it for a very long time, and this game is getting up there in Price Town. Yes, it is. It is one cent away from being well, not worth it. But Delirium the Giant is a god simulator where you are this giant that is reborn every single day. You get bigger the more you are either loved or feared. You basically help these little villagers build up towns, breed. Don't know what it is with GameCube games, especially that and Cubivore, all about breeding. Chow Garden in Sonic Adventure DX. And you basically build a series of monuments until you get the ending, which, yeah. That's not why I play this. I play this to just kind of chill. It is a supremely chill game. As you get on, there are things like fire tornadoes and big tidal waves and lots of death. But in general, I'm not a big cozy game fan. I find them really boring, monotonous and irritating. But there's something about Doshin's sort of pseudo-open world that what you can do, like you can pull up the ground to create mountains, you can level it out using jazz hands, you can turn into a giant demon that can fly and throw fireballs, and there is actually a reason to do that if you want to get bigger very quickly. You turn into Jashin the Giant, which, sure. But you can also use the fact that the fucker can fly and glide. He's way quicker than base Doshin, so there is reason to make use of this particular figure. And here's the kicker: I just really enjoy this game. It's so freaking. It is chill. It is a very chill game. It's just a lot of fun. And you know what? If you're feeling particularly vindictive, you can kill everybody. Number 9. Now, this one was a lot of deliberation. So I pretty much had 1 to 8 sorted, 10 sorted. Number 9 fluctuated. It was either going to be... It was going to be one of 3 games. So it was going to be... 4 games. 4 games. It was either going to be F-Zero GX, which I removed just simply because I haven't really played it enough, and it's fucking difficult. Red Alert 3. And the only reason Red Alert 3 got knocked out was because this is also a strategy game that just happened to like just a tiny bit more. Well, how was the other one? Shadowrun for the Xbox 360. And the only reason I removed that was because I knew other people would be like, really? Of all the freaking games? And here's the kicker. I have 2 general rules for this top 10 list that I have just always had. Number 1, they have to be games I come back to over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Not I can play for tens and thousands of hours, not something I can sit down and sink weeks of my life into, but something that I can go, I feel like playing that again and going back and just doing it, you know. I mean, there have been games on here like Fire Emblem Three Houses was number 5 for a long time, until it got knocked off its perch by number 5, which we will get to, and that just hasn't moved for like the last 3 years, which is cool. Number 9's probably the most fluctuating, and what I ultimately settled on was a game that is probably my first experience of RTS games on a console, which I know, it's a bad way to play RTS games, but there's something charming about Universe at War. It is the epitome of B-movie sci-fi. So you've got 3 separate factions. One that tie very heavily into the ancient astronaut theory, which is that aliens came to Earth long ago and basically taught us how to build shit and do shit. There's a race of robots who tie very heavily into like the internet and cyberpunk to a degree and things like that, which is really cool. And then you've got the main faction who are on the front there called the Hierarchy, who tie into every single conspiracy theory to do with like grey aliens, which is really cool. And they have giant walkers that slowly move across the battlefield. And it's probably the most asymmetric strategy game I've ever played. So typically, when you play a strategy game, there will be a level of asymmetry. So certain factions will do certain things better. In the case of Red Alert, pretty much the only faction I play as is Empire of the Rising Sun. They have an exceptional navy, garbage air force. By contrast, the Allies have a really good air force, shit ground forces, or a shit navy. I think it's a shit navy. And then the Russians have exceptional ground forces, pretty good air force, shit navy. Or is it shit navy? Can't remember. Doesn't matter. But no, it's shit navy. Shit navy, good ground forces, okay air force. And then Allies have okay navy, shit ground forces, good air force. Universe at War, by contrast, you've got 3 separate factions, and they all have resource gathering. In the case of the Novus, who are the robots, they have the capacity to build sort of a network across the map. And that allows them to basically appear out of fucking nowhere, because these structures are invisible, and they can just speed off, build bases fucking everywhere. Pain in the ass to deal with, but a lot of fun to play as. Then you've got the Masari. So the Masari are extremely good at just holding up. And they can switch between two different like styles of combat. So you've got Light Side, which does, I think, more damage, but they've got worse armor. And then you've got Dark Side, which has slightly worse offense, extremely good defense, but as a result they're flying. But that means their flying units can no longer fly. So you can't just switch back and forth constantly. There is a cooldown, but it's about tactically using that. That's really cool. There's also the fact that unlike the other 2 factions, they don't go out and collect resources. They build these generators that just sort of suck energy in from the atmosphere. And sounds broken in comparison to the other 2, but they also blow up very violently. And more importantly, if you build them really close together, sets off a whole chain reaction, wipes out your entire base. So, yeah, there's a balance to it. The Hierarchy, who are these guys, have giant walkers that they can call down from space, and then those walkers can be upgraded with a variety of different bits and pieces. That just makes it really cool. They can be upgraded to spawn units faster, they can be upgraded to have more armor, loads of weaponry, super weaponry. It's really, really cool. And that's sort of why this particular strategy game, it's not my favourite strategy game, we'll get to that, but it is my favourite RTS, period. I've got it on PC. I bought it for 20p out of a CEX like 10 years ago, long after I got this version, but I thought, hey, why not? Most fun I've had with 20p. Not joking. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, here's one. Oh, stickers. Okay, so, yeah, the actual game isn't in this, it's on the shelf, but I'm a big lover of walking simulators. Things like Firewatch, What Remains of Edith Finch, Dear Esther, not so much Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, but you know what I mean. Games where you walk in a straight line and blah, 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 and story happens. There's only really one game that topples all of those, and it's Stanley Parable. I love this fucking game. I do. I'm a big fan of Davey Wreden's work. Not so much Wonder Stop. I didn't like it as much. I need to go back and replay it. But Stanley Parable is exceptional. It's really, really good. And it's a game sort of about the meta of storytelling in video games. So it's about choices and how ultimately they're not meaningful in the slightest. It's all sort of preordained. It's funny as hell. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe in particular adds just a series of endings about a bucket. And you'd think the joke would get old. It doesn't, which is very weird. It really, really, really does not get old, to the point where I have a bucket up there. I have a Stanley Parable just bit of my games room because I like that game so much. In fact, it's the only other game that sort of has that honour is Stanley Parable, because I got all of the merch when it came out from IM8-bit. IM8-bit. They did a bunch of merchandise, including this Stanley Parable sort of collector's edition, which is really cool. But yeah, this is a game I can come back to time and time and time again, because it's got multiple endings. But here's the kicker. I could just do those endings again, because I find them funny. They are consistently funny. There is something entertaining about Bucket. You know, I've played every ending in this game, and I can go back and play it. There are other games that, let's be honest, could be on this list. Forgotten City, for example. But unfortunately for Forgotten City, it is a game you can play once. Once. Maybe twice, maybe 3 times if you don't get the good end, like the best ending straight away. But if you do get the best ending straight away, that's it. You can't play that game again. The Stanley Parable, you can get that ending. And you can get multiple different endings, because a run's going to take you a maximum of 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20. And it's good work. It's good, solid fun. So, number 7. Number 7. Hyrule Warriors, specifically the Wii U version. Now, I have sunk hundreds of hours into this game. Hundreds of hours. Not so much the Switch version, because it tied all of the fucking DLC characters that came on here behind the adventure mode, which I hate. So as a result, I haven't unlocked half of the shit in there. I haven't unlocked all the characters in this yet, just because I don't want to do the adventure mode, because I really don't like it. I don't like it. I should do, but I don't. This, though, honestly, it's my favourite game on the Wii U. It just is. I'm not a huge Dynasty Warriors fan, but I've really liked all of the Warriors games that they've done for Nintendo. So, started with Hyrule Warriors. Presumably it sold well enough for them to go, Fire Emblem Warriors, ? They did Fire Emblem Warriors, that clearly sold well enough for them to go, okay, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which is about Breath of the Wild, and its backstory. They're doing another one, which is Age of Imprisonment, which is about Tears of the Kingdom and that game's backstory. So we've actually gotten about 4 games out of Breath of the Wild, which is not too bad. I'm just hoping we go back to something a little darker, like with Majora's Mask. And then they did a sequel to Fire Emblem Warriors, which is a retelling of 3 Houses. It's got all of the playable characters in that, except for Hanlon? Whatever. One of the teachers, which is a bit weird, but here we are. Moving on, my friend. Number 6. This is a big old childhood game. It's Sonic Adventure 2. I fucking love this game. It's genuinely so good. It is genuinely so good. And I have a bit of a confession. I've never actually beaten this. one of the rare few games on here that I haven't actually finished. In fact, I think it's the only one on here I haven't finished. But I like to do something called memory card roulette. So with memory card roulette, you go into, say, CX, and you go, hey, what memory cards do you have? And they go, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. We've got this and the other. And I went in a couple of weeks ago, and I picked up this one. This one has a complete save file of Sonic Adventure 2, and it had a highly, highly leveled up Chow Garden, which, okay, very cool. So I can kind of just say I've beaten the game now, even though that's slightly cheating, but I don't really care. It's a good game. It is. I like pretty much every level. There's certain ones that I could do without. Rouge's bloody prison break one, for example, can go die in a hole because this was not very good. And I'm surprised that Shadow has 3 levels. That's it. He's got four levels. Sorry, he's got 4 levels, and that's it in the whole game. Eggman has more, which is just very bizarre. And don't get me wrong, I like this game. I like it a lot. I think it's exceptionally well made. It's just, yeah, I think they could have maybe given Shadow a couple of levels. That would have been nice. Maybe let us play as other alternative characters during, like, this, say, I don't know, from the multiplayer. Let us play as Metal Sonic. That'd be kind of cool. Or let us play as Shadow in Sonic's levels, or Amy, or any of that crap. That would have been pretty cool. Or Takal, Chaos, and things like that. But yeah. Number 5. Number 5 hasn't changed from the last time I did this. Most of these have. I think the only game that sort of stuck around was Sonic Adventure 2. Triangle Strategy. Yes, Triangle Strategy. The music is perfect. It's been released on PlayStation 5 and Xbox garbage. So that's good. I will probably get it again for PS5 if they do a physical release, which they probably will. I mean, they did a physical release for the Switch, and don't get me wrong, the ability to play this on the go is extremely cool, but having PS5 load times with this would be it'd be very, very cool. And, having the epilogue that they released about nearly a year after they finished the game, is really cool. And I'm really, really, really hoping that Art Dink are doing too. I'm really genuinely hoping that we are getting a Triangle Strategy 2, because if we do, I'm fucking buying it, and then it will be a toss-up between that and this for 5th place. Although it might just be a case where I go, both are number 5, both Triangle Strategy 1 and Triangle Strategy 2 are number 5. I think I'd be perfectly okay with that. I think it'd be really cool. Norzelia is just such an exceptional video game world to explore, with its geopolitics and everything to do with Hyzan. I absolutely love, as they're so cartoonishly evil, but they make sense within the world that they are in, and it's just, the world building's really good. Play that fucking game. Play it. I've beaten every level. I haven't recruited every character yet. I'm yet to recruit Trish and Travis, which is a bit annoying because you have to do 2 separate playthroughs to get those pricks. Yeah, and you specifically have to do a mission with Frederica to get them. So, yeah, it's a fucking headache. I think I've got one of them. I have got... Did I get Travis or Trish? I can't remember. But it's a shame. Never mind. Number 4. Again, this is one of those ones that just hasn't changed in 12 years. 12 years, and that is Dust and Elysian Tale. I love this game to death. I absolutely do. I wish Dean Bodrill was working on a sequel. I know he's doing a game, and he's done a few since, but I'd murder for Dust and Elysian Tale 2. I think it'd be really, really cool. It's just such a strong narrative. It's one of those rare rare bits of media where it's able to make me give a shit about a character who doesn't even talk. So there's a bit in the game where you're racing back. You've released these healing waters and you're too late. And this young boy's dad passes away. And it's a gut punch. It's a huge gut punch because it makes it personal. It goes, we weren't fast enough. And that made me think for quite a long time. It did. It's one of those instances, along with... it's one of those instances, sort of like Mass Effect, where I've just gone, Now, Mass Effect 3 is no longer on this list, because, let's be perfectly honest, a big part of why I like that game is because 1 and 2 exist. So, yeah, you can't really play 3 without having done a good run of 1 and 2, which is a shame. So it's not just a game you can sort of jump into. Is if you had the multiplayer running, but not anymore. Thanks, EA. Number 3. Number 3 is the single most static. It has always been number 3. It has always been number 3, and that is Stubbs the Zombie. Even at a time where I didn't have a number 2, it was like, oh, this is my favourite game, and then 3. This was number 3. And Stubbs is just such a delightfully fucking insane game. You're a bloody zombie going around eating people's brains whilst developed with the Halo engine, which was a big thing back in the day. And then they went, right, we know the Xbox versions, the original Xbox version's like £100. Well, no, 65, I think. It was 65 for quite a long time. We're going to re-release it. What? Yeah, we're going to re-release Stubbs the Zombie. Okay. So, I bought 2 versions. I own it on PS4. I own it on Switch now. The original Xbox version. I haven't got the PC version yet. And I haven't bought the Xbox One version, which I would buy. Even though I hate that system. Strictly so I can go, I have every version of this game. So, in case one breaks... Hell, I've got a repro version of the original Xbox version in case that version broke, because at the time it was £65, which is a fucking insane amount of money. I got it back in 2008. My friend and I were coming back from where he lived, sort of across the country, and we stopped off in a town very close to where I was, and I was like, whatever, I haven't really found anything. We go into game. There is this on the shelf, and I'm like, dude. He was absolutely... We're still friends to this day, which is very cool. And he was nice enough to part buy it with me. So we both bought it. I was absolutely thrilled, and I did pay him back. It took a little while, but I did do it. I did do it. It did take me a couple months because I didn't have a job because I was 14. But yeah, good game. Absolutely fucking love it. Moving on, number 2. So, we have a returning champion. Yes, this is a spot that was originally occupied by Mass Effect 3. Prior to that, Halo 2. Halo 2 is back. Yes, it is back in number 3. Number 2. Was originally my favourite game of all time. It was then consumed by my all-consuming obsession with Brutal Legend. But Halo 2, it didn't feel right it wasn't even on the list. It wasn't even on the list, and I was like, that's not right. That's not right. This needs to be on the list somewhere. So I went, unfortunately, Mass Effect 3. Halo 2. Halo 2 has returned to its absolutely rightful spot at number 2, where it fucking belongs. I adore this game. Halo was my childhood. I did do a video a couple of years ago, sort of talking about Halo, but my real love of Halo came from 2. It started with Halo 1, specifically the silent cartographer level around a friend's house, but then I found out Halo 2 existed, and I went, okay, need that. So, rather nicely, my parents got me the Halo triple pack, which I have been lucky enough to get the box back for. So yes, I have another copy. I have a How many copies of Halo 2 do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 copies of Halo 2, including Vista and what the fuck is the other one? Halo 2 Anniversary. So if you count all of those, I own 7 copies of Halo 2, which is a lot. It is a lot. It is an astronomically large amount. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I like that game enough. I even went out and found as many of the versions of it as I could. I'm debating on getting the Japanese version strictly so I can go, yeah, Japanese. But yeah, it's a lifelong love. I did go back and play through quite a lot of the levels recently, including ones I just simply do not like Sacred Icon. I think that game is I think that level is shit. Yeah, most of early 2025 was playing Halo, and I played through Halo 2 with the flying skull on and infinite ammo where I could, and it was fucking sick. It was really cool. But I play on original Xbox where I can. The final game. Yes, the final game. We know what the final game is. It's Brutal Legend. I'm not sure what else I can really say about my favourite game of all time. I did pick up the Double Fine Collector's Edition, which rather annoyingly doesn't come with stacking. No, it does come with stacking. It doesn't come with the Cave or Iron Brigade on disc. So I'm going to have to buy those games on Steam, and then you know what? Fucking burn them. I'm going to burn them to a CD. Because fuck you. If I can't own it legitimately Double Fine, I'm going to just do that. I'm burning them to a disc. Both of them. I'll own them physically, but I'm digitally backing them up. So it's all kosher. But yeah, so I've bought a... God, which version of this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 versions. 6 versions of Brutal Legend. There is another version that I could own, which is the Chinese Windows Vista disc, which is like 200 quid on eBay at the time of recording, which... No. No. Like, don't get me wrong, I've spent a crazy amount of money on that collection, a crazy amount of money. I mean, I spent 150 quid earlier this year on some fucking coasters, but which are right there, £150 on coasters for this fucking game. But I think 200 quid on a unusable version of the game that is strictly in Chinese is a little bit far. So yeah, some changes, some not so big changes. I think the biggest one probably moving Halo 2 back into its rightful spot at number 2 is probably the best one. So yeah, that's where we are. Anyways, guys, that's me done for another week. Probably a game pickup video next. I have a lot of stuff. I do have a lot of really interesting crap that is arriving in the post, which is very cool, that I'm really looking forward to talking to you about. And until that time comes, my friends, I will see you next time.